Hi guys, this is Pradeep Srivastava. Welcome to my channel. Today what we are going to cover about is consumer behavior. Consumer behavior is one key important thing which we should be knowing in marketing and sales, and it is very important for companies to know about it because they need to position their product or service accordingly. And the consumer behavior keeps changing time to time. So this is the topic which we are going to cover. I am sure it's going to be very interesting. What we are going to discuss about is the major 10 trends which are currently important in consumer behavior and is going to continue for the next 5 years. Yeah. So consumer behavior is very important in selling because it provides valuable insights into customer preferences, the motive patterns. So by understanding the customer, behavior, sales professional can pitch their presentations accordingly, make their sales strategies accordingly, and they can position their product offerings according to the requirement. So it is very important to know what is consumer behavior. So let me talk about 5 important things of consumer behavior which we all should know in terms of understanding consumer behavior. The first one is understanding buying motivation. See, the consumer behavior is one thing which helps the sales professional to effectively sell. So if we know that what motivates the customer or the consumer in terms of his decision making process, it is very useful, and accordingly the same can be pitched. So it is very important to understand the buying motivations which the consumer thinks as of today's world. The second thing is we need to target the right audience. So when you do a consumer behavior research, it helps you to understand the specific demographic, the psychographic and the behavior characteristics of the target audience. And accordingly, it helps you to target the right audience. So that is also very important. The third thing is influencing purchase decisions. When you do consumer research, consumer behavior research, the consumer behavior insights, it allows to understand that what are the factors that influence purchase decisions. So by identifying the key decision making criteria such as product features, brand reputation, social proof, the salespersons can emphasize those aspects in their sales pitches which will help them to win the sales, right? The fourth one is customized. So how do you customize the sales approach? When you study the consumer behavior, when you do that research, you are able to understand what are the customer preferences, what are the communication styles, what is the decision making processes. That accordingly the salesperson can adapt the selling techniques. Okay, now these selling techniques will resonate with each customer, as per the consumer behavior, and accordingly it will help you to get you a successful sale. And the last important point is approach. So how do you customize the sales approach? As far as researching the consumer behavior is concerned, yes, it is anticipating and addressing objectives. So once you're doing customer research, sorry, you are able to also get some insights in terms of what would be the objections the target audience may have, and accordingly you will be able to pitch yourself and be ready with the answers to those objections, and you will be able to convince the customer and probably get a nod to start the business or buy the product. So that the consumer behavior actually is very important because it provides valuable insights into customer motivations, preferences, decision making processes, and it helps the sales professional to accordingly do their sales strategies, find the right audience, influence the right things to the customer so that there is a successful win. So that's about consumer behavior strategies, find the right audience, influence the right things to the customer so that there is a successful win. So that's about consumer behavior. So guys, we spoke about consumer behavior. Consumer behavior is very important. And what I'm going to speak now is about the 10 consumer behavior trends which are prevalent and probably will continue for next 3-4 years. So we need to understand these 10 important trends and accordingly adapt our strategies, the sales strategies accordingly. So the first one is where the customers are expecting multiple payment options. I'm sure you must have witnessed, you must have experienced, and if your product or service today not offering that, it may probably be a roadblock. So when you're designing your product or service, or when you're pitching your product or service, you need to ensure that there are more than one multiple payment options to the to the consumer, so that they are attracted towards your, they are ready to buy your product or service. Yeah. So this is very important, and we all are witnessing it in every field. The second thing is, in today's world, the consumers, they want to shop everything. They want everything to be delivered at their home. So it's the e-commerce world. Probably the e-commerce has influenced it, or post-pandemic, the more and more consumers are wanting their products or services to be delivered at the doorstep. So when you are planning about your product or service, you need to keep this consumer trend in mind, right? So e-commerce dominance has taken place. Everyone is aware, everyone wants to get their product delivered at home. Okay, and very few people want to go to the brick and mortar store and probably go for shopping. So you need to design your product or service in accordance to this, so that the consumers are having that option available with them, right? The third important trend which has started post pandemic is the customers have increasingly third important trend which has started post pandemic is the customers have increasingly looked for ethical and sustainable products and services, right? So as per a particular research, 77% of the consumers in today's world, all across the world, they look for ethical and sustainable products and services. So they would not like to go to any company or anything, but they would always prefer to buy from a company which is into ethical practices and sustainable, and is working on sustainability, which essentially means that they are taking care of the environment. Yeah. So that is one important change which has happened, and I'm sure we all witness it. We all want to do that. So why not we ensure that when we are planning for a product or service, we also ensure that this is happening in the planning. Yeah. The fourth thing. Health and wellness. So people want to take care of their health at their home. Okay, the pandemic has heightened the awareness of health and wellness, and this trend is expected to continue. Consumers are looking for products and services that promote physical and mental well-being, including fitness apps, healthy foods, wellness retreats, and so on and so forth. Even telemedicine, for that matter, has been surging all across the world, and consumers are preferring to go for telemedicine instead of going offline and probably meeting the doctors themselves. So if your product or service is something related to where you can probably offer some health and wellness angle to it, it would be a great idea. Yeah. So the fifth important trend, again, which all of us are witnessing, is that today's world has become more of social media. People are spending more and more time on social media, and because they are spending more and more time on social media, influencers are making a very, very, very big role in sales and marketing. Yeah. So influencers tend to push you to buy a product or service, or you get influenced because you're following that influencer for a specific thing which you like or dislike, and this market is growing like crazy. So influencer marketing is very, very important in today's world, and it is more and more companies are getting into influencing marketing. I guess it's about 35 to 40% of the companies now look for one of these marketing strategies as influencer marketing. Yeah, I'm sure you all have witnessed this change. Yeah. So the next important point, the intent is, by virtue of all the changes happening in the last couple of years, the consumers, they tend to subscribe to more monthly services. Okay, so subscription models are in play. People love to get into subscription model, pay monthly, and probably enjoy these services. So customers appreciate the convenience and the value offered by the subscription models. Yeah. So that is one key trend which is emerging and will continue for some time. So we can always see if you study the if you research on the subscription model marketing, you will find that the subscription models of marketing or the market or the industry is growing by more than 80 to 100%, almost 80 to 100%. So that's the kind of surge which has happened in the subscription models. Yeah. Next emerging trend which we all see now are that people, yeah, there are more and more demands of pets. But what is more important is that the consumers tend to spend more money on pets. They spend a lot of money on pets. So it's very important that you should understand that probably pets are as important as babies in the home, and the consumers tend to spend a lot of money. Yeah. So pitching your sales pitch, if your product or services can be relevant, any of these would also add some value. Yeah. So I think it's looking very interesting that the trends are changed than what it was a decade before. And the next important trend which we all have witnessed, especially post-pandemic, is mindfulness. So the mindfulness market is continuing to grow. Meditation, mindfulness market is growing, all across the world. And it is I think it's growing. It is CAGR of 10.5 to 11%, and the growth of the market is going to be very high till 2027. So the idea of sharing this consumer behavior trend is that when any company is designing their product or services, or when you're talking about your product or services, this consumer behavior also plays a very important role. Yeah. So somewhere if you can relate your product or services to this, if it can be, it should be relevant, right? Then it's going to add a lot of value. Yeah. The next emerging trend is everyone knows remote work. The home has become the hub. Yeah. So now increasingly more and more people are wanting to work from remote. Home has become the hub, and in the United States of America, 80 to 90% of the population wants to work from home, and I'm sure in India also the trend is catching up, and there is a huge target audience which wants to work from homes. So point also needs to be kept in mind. Yeah. So this is very important trend, and we cannot ignore this. So I've covered 9 trends. Now I'm covering the 10th trend. That point also needs to. The 10th trend is the last one. This is about personalization. Yeah. Customers are expecting personalized services, whether it is in the product recommendation, content, marketing messages, leveraging data and AI to provide tailored offerings. So unless more and more personalized attention when it is given to the consumers, they tend to buy your product or service. They tend to be very very getting attracted towards using your product and services more and more. So these 10 trends, consumer behavior trends, are important to understand. It is very important to understand that when you are building your sales strategies, when you're marketing your product, when you're positioning your product or services, when you're doing your sales pitch, when you're doing your presentations, when you are identifying the right target audience, you keep all this in mind. I'm sure if we all do this, it is going to be very helpful in getting a big win and optimizing successful sales. To follow it, please do like and subscribe if you are finding it good, and I would be very happy if you post your comments in terms of your experiences in the marketplace. Thank you very much. Bye bye.